Racing analyst Tim Hauraney. And Tim, track limits was a major theme all weekend, as we saw. It continued after the race with an Aston Martin protest because over 100 lap times were deleted during the race. Now, is this a problem Formula One needs to fix?
Yeah, I think so, Sarah. I think it's a significant problem. I mean, nobody wants to see the race results change an hour or 2 hours after a Grand Prix has been completed. Now, during the actual race, I mean, race control had to go through about 1,200 instances where a car was potentially leaving the track and gaining an advantage. So, for context, this track here in Austria, this issue is very specific to it. For this particular point in the track, we're talking about turns 9 and turns 10. Those are the specific corners. There needs to be a bit of a deterrent there to stop drivers from going over this white line. Now, in the driver's defense, it actually is really hard to see this white line. The speed they're going at, the way the curvature of the corner is, how low they are in the car. But I did hear from the FIA following the race, and they did tell us that they're going to recommend to the track that for next year, they think about putting in place gravel traps along turn 9 and turn 10 on the exits. And I honestly think the drivers will appreciate that.
Oh, I'm sure. Now, it was a great day for Ferrari. Meanwhile, a frustrating one for Mercedes. Were these track-specific results or the beginning of a trend, Tim?
I think it's track-specific for Mercedes. I mean, where they are now and where they started are two different things. The upgrade that they brought to Monaco, it really looks like it's working. And I think they're going to be bringing some more upgrades for the British Grand Prix next weekend. And so for them, if I'm Mercedes, I'm not particularly worried about one-offs like the Austrian Grand Prix. As for Ferrari, I think that's a trend. I mean, ever since they went in this new aero philosophy during the Spanish Grand Prix, Carlos Sainz was great there. Then both drivers were really strong at the Canadian Grand Prix. Now again in Austria, both drivers really strong. So what it looks like, Sarah, is they've really started to understand with these new upgrades how the tire degrades during a race. And that was one of their main issues.
Right. We still have a lot left in the season. And of course, the British Grand Prix next weekend. Tim, thanks so much for joining us.